Welcome to Sullivan Guitar Works, and today at OGW we will be talking about Switch guitars. So I picked up my Switch Vibracell guitar, the Wild One model, from a Facebook Marketplace advert. It was being advertised as used and somewhat broken, but when I bought it, it was in fine condition apart from it just needed resoldering in the electrics and new strings and just a clean up. The gentleman who was selling it was advertising it at £20, and I thought I'd see if it was actually worth that, because if someone does advertise something that low for a fully working guitar, I worry that it's going to be in terrible condition. Upon getting it home, I gave it a good clean up. I checked the electrics over. I did some shielding inside the cavities for the pickup. I adjusted the bridge, the usual adjustments that you would make on a guitar that you've just bought. I put on sort of my favorite strings for the tuning I wanted to use it for, which is drop C. I put on some Ernie Ball 10 to 52s, and I'm extremely happy with the guitar. I can't say enough good things about it. As you'll see in the demo, we'll talk about its features. Now, I first came across Switch Vibracell guitars about 3 or 4 years ago. I was looking through Gumtree. I found one there advertised for about £120. It really intrigued me, the look of the guitar, and as soon as I did a bit of research, it fascinated me even more. I never thought I really needed one, so I didn't seek any out, and I thought it would be just surplus to requirements, considering the other guitars I have all kind of serve a purpose. However, when I saw the secondhand Facebook ad for that price, I obviously couldn't turn down at least having a look at it. So what can be said about Switch guitars? I mean, it goes without saying that they're quite unique. They are made of a one-piece body and neck construction, which is made by injection molding of their patented polyurethane resin-based synthetic material that they call Vibracell, hence the names Switch Vibracell. Now, this is something that attracted me because from what I've read online, it's very similar to the material Luthite, which is used in basses from the Ibanez EDA range, the Ibanez EDA 900 and the Ibanez EDA 905. And I personally have been using an EDA 905 since about 2002. I love my 905. I wouldn't replace it with anything else. And I think even if I was asked by Ibanez to make a custom model, I would somehow try and convince them to bring back Luthite and make another version of the 905. Now, from everything I've researched online about Switch, it says they were a short-lived mid-2000s company that, I believe, presented their first models at NAMM in 2004. The one notable thing about all reviews and write-ups on Switch guitars online is the mention of excellent sustain. That's something I can attest to from the model that I own, and also from my Ibanez EDA 905, which also has fantastic sustain. One thing that's known about the models is the fretboards. They usually use rosewood fretboards, but also have a material which is called ebonol, which is a synthetic version of ebony. I think it's matched to have the same sort of resonance as ebony wood does. And I think there's something similar on the Luthite models of the Ibanez, and that's called ebonite. I'm not sure if they're the same and they just use a different name, but they sound very similar. Most of the models you'll find feature Grover Rotomatic tuners on them, which I've found from the model I own are very dependable. Some models have also been found to be MIDI ready, featuring a Roland GK2A pick. Now, whilst researching these guitars, and when I researched them in the past, I can only ever find one actual available brochure online. I believe that was from 2005. Due to this, I won't go into too much detail about the different models available, as I've seen so many other models that are not in this brochure. However, they offer a range of guitars that are very similar to single cut Les Pauls and also PRSs, and they offer a couple of more futuristic models that are, funnily enough, called the Futuras and the Revolutions. And they also offer a range of basses, including fretless. It should be noted that all the guitars in these ranges were made with Wilkinson hardware and pickups. Now, the model that I have today and we'll be doing an overview on is the Wild One, and this features the exclusive Vibracell neck through body design. It has Grover Rotomatic tuners. It has a one switch designed humbucking pickup from Wilkinson that features a coil tap switch. It has one volume control, one tone control, a rosewood fingerboard. It has binding on the neck. It also features a fixed bridge, black hardware. The scale is 24 3/4 inch with 22 frets. Now let's head over to the demo and check out what kind of sounds we can get out of the Switch Vibracell Wild One. Now, in the previous section of the video, we looked at an overview of the company Switch and the different types of models that were available at the time and the brochure we showed was published. And today we're going to be talking about one specific model, and it is this. This is the Switch Vibracell Wild One. And as we said in the specs before, it features the single pickup in the bridge and the coil tap switch. One volume, one tone. And it is a completely one piece apart from the fretboard and binding construction guitar. So I'm really interested to hear how it sounds and some of the settings. I have played around with the guitar a lot, but not a lot through the amp, and especially not a lot on the high gain settings, so I'm keen to see what we can get out of this guitar. So first things first, we're going to try the clean channel, and that is in the single coil position, tapped, and we're going to see how that sounds. So I'll start with the tone on 10 in the single position. So that's it rolled off. Noticeable difference there. Back to 10. Now we'll try that in the humbucker position. Roll that off again. Really noticeable, much bassier, much throatier sort of sound. Generally a really nice tone to it. It's very consistent throughout. There's no intonation problems with this one. I set it up when I first got it and put the new strings on it and cleaned it up. I really like the sustain, which is something these guitars are renowned for. If you go to any forum or find any information on Vibracell guitars, they are all sort of talking about how much sustain you get with them, and that's definitely noticeable when you play them. Now in the brochures, the pickups had different names. I think there are 3 different types of pickups with different configurations and looks. But with these, they don't have a name on them, they just have the Switch branding on them. I think these are not the ones that were in that brochure, because I think those were later models like the Wild 4, this being the Wild 1, and it having just the one bridge pickup. I think it's a different pickup, or maybe one of them just marked. But I really like the pickup in this guitar for something that I think was made by Trevor Wilkinson. So I think this is a Wilkinson pickup in an old school, and I've got Wilkinson pickups in other things. I've got an vintage VS6 SG that has Wilkinson hardware, Wilkinson pickups, and that is a fantastic guitar. It sounds amazing. It sounds as good as many of the high-end Epiphone SGs I've played. So now we're going to try the high gain setting. It's probably going to be a little bit noisier. This amp is a little bit noisy. I think we found that from the iMaster tests. And first we'll start off in the single coil position. Distortion on that set. It's got almost like a Telecaster twang to it. Really twangy. I think you get some really nice tones out of this if you sort of drop the gain back, almost feel like a chicken picking style with just a little bit of bite or an overdrive pedal through a clean channel. You get some really nice sort of telly twang to this. Now let's try the distortion with the humbucker set. Let's move through this page. Noticeable sustain there, fantastic. This guitar sounds great on distorted settings. I really wish I played around with this more because this is a lot of fun. I think it's quite a versatile guitar as well. I think if I ran this through one of my sound processors or through maybe Amplitude on my DAW, I'd be able to get some really interesting sounds out of it. I feel like this would be a great guitar to take to a session sort of gig if you're looking for different things and want to try and achieve different sounds. What I really like about this guitar is it's no nonsense, it's very simple, it's very straight to the point. The one humbucker, the volume, the tone, and the switch with the capability of the coil tapping gives it a little bit of versatility, but it's just a very simple guitar. And I think that goes a very long way. You can get guitars obviously that are very much customized and have specific sort of types of pickup configurations for different sort of types of bands. I have in my 7-string and Invader in the British single Duncan, because I wanted a very big, high sort of output pickup. And with this, you don't really need that. You can find those tones using amplifiers and pedals and things. And this guitar is just almost, it's like a bit of a conduit, maybe like a vessel for you to play your parts. And I think this would be a super versatile guitar, like I said, for session work. And if you're playing sort of quite stripped back music with very simple setups, I think this would be a fantastic guitar for that. You'd probably turn this to most any project you needed it for. Now, I know switches are quite sought after online. Every time I've done my research, I've seen a lot of people talking about getting one and wanting to chase one down. I couldn't find a lot of them for sale. A few of the Futura models, which was I think a later model from the brochure that we explored, are available online, and they're around sort of 160 to 200. I've seen them. Now, I bought this guitar, like I said in the overview, for £20, with the idea it was going to be beaten up, but there were no major cracks or damage in it that was anything I couldn't deal with or fix, and the electrics issues were just basically cleaning and resoldering. So, I'm really happy with this as a purchase. I'm really happy with this as a guitar. I'm going to continue to use this. I'm definitely going to take it on for some projects in the future. I have a project that I use my Les Paul on, and I think I could probably get a similar sound out of this, or a nice accompanying sound for like a dual guitar sound with this. So yeah, overall very happy with this guitar. Overall really nice tone. The neck on this guitar very much reminds me of an SG. It's got the same sort of feel to it. The scale feels quite small, but I'm used to playing bass a lot, and I'm used to playing a 7-string with a longer scale, so it does, most guitars that I play that are sort of normal scales feel quite small to me anyway. It's very comfortable to play, can't lie, it's a very appealing guitar. It's quite, easy on the eye as well. It's quite an unusual guitar, it grabs attention. It reminds me a lot, obviously, with the horn of Parker's, which I do like Parker's as well. I like how unique they are. And I know unique guitars like this are not for everybody. Some people are traditionalists, or some people are super modern and want your, headstockless Kiesels and guitars like that. So if you've been thinking about picking up a Switch Vibracell guitar, then I would say go do it. Get one. If you can get one for a great price like I did, fantastic. This is one of those dream stories that you read about online and really hope will happen to you. And if you can get one even for just a reasonable price, or maybe even the market where they're going at the moment, they are worth it if you think you'll get the use out of it. I personally am going to keep my eye open for more in the future. I'd like to maybe get my hands on one of the MIDI capable ones to see what that's like, or maybe one of the 12 strings, but definitely really want to get my hands on a bass. So thanks for tuning in today at OGW Studios. It's enough for us. Like, subscribe, share the video around. Let us know in the comments if you've got a Switch guitar, which one you've got. Really love to hear about more of them, and if you've seen any available, tell us your experience with them. And tell us what you'd like to see us focus on more, some like guitars more, some more pedals, and just let us know what you'd like to see on the channel. Take it easy and take care.